And welcome to part 2 of our fixing this fuser unit for the 9970. So we've removed this bushing off the old roller. We then simply slide it on like so, and now this roller is ready to go back onto the fuser unit. So we'll toss that one aside and we'll bring the fuser body up. Alright, so ideally you would be doing this two-handed at this point. So what we're going to do is we've got to get the fuser lamp, will just go back into its position. We just want to get it up. Let's set it up for a little bit. Then we've got this end. Stick it over. And then we start sliding it on. Now you want to steer clear of these fingers because the fingers can dig into the surface of the new roller. As we're putting it in, you want to twist the roller away from the fingers. If you twist it towards the fingers, you will more than likely damage the surface of the new roller. So as we're dragging it in, you need to be mindful of the thermistor that's on the bottom under here. You don't want to bend that, you just want that to sit on top. And then we stick it into the bearing. Make sure the gear is still in the vertical position. And as we're trying to push it into the gear, we're twisting away from the fingers. And we're trying to find the locking position on the gear. Okay, so we've now found the locking position of the gear. We need to go back and make it in the vertical position, and then you have to just gently, one by one, work your way along, rotating the roller anti-clockwise and allowing the roller to drop into position without damaging the surface from these fingers touching. Okay, now that roller's dropped in, we will then bring the lamp over, put it into position, and then we need to put the screw back in. Alright, now that's locked in. We put our power lead back on. Simply push it back in. Alright, it's locked. We want to get the screw that's on this lamp and we want to tighten it back up. So that's all in. Now incidentally, in some of these fuses, when you get them, they will be, some of the fuses may actually have a plastic cover that covers this heat lamp up. That was a later revision on the fuse unit. This one doesn't have it because it's one of the very early versions. Yeah, and there's a screw that goes in here and screws the cover plate on. Now we need to lock the new fuser roller to the gear so it doesn't move around, and it's just simply a case of going back into the vertical position, getting your pliers, and you bend that tab out. And turn it around and bend the second tab out. And there we have the tab bent out. That tab bent out, and that gear is permanently locked to the new roller. So that's the upper all done. I'll now put the roller back on. So we grab the roller. You want to just clean the roller off if it's become dirty in the process. And we just hook it on. We hook this side on. Make sure the surface is clean on the roller. Because you don't want any dirt to be on the roller, because when you close this to this one, any dirt will get stuck in between here and here, and you'll end up with an indentation on the surface of this roller. So it's really important that it's clean. And then we simply fold it back over. And then we have to rehook the springs back over onto, to apply the pressure to draw the roller back up to the body. And that's your fuser unit done. So I'm going to do this two-handed because we're at the final stage and I don't want to mess this up. So I'll just pause the video, put it back on, and we'll be ready to go. Okay, so we've got our springs back on. Both sides, cables are on, and that's our fuser unit all completely rebuilt and ready to go back into service for another 100,000 pages. Incidentally, the bushing that's on the roller here, the conductive bushing that's in there, makes body contact with the body of the bearing. That gets conducted by the spring up, and then you've got this little spring on the back, and that conducts it back down to the earthing plate, and this earthing plate contacts with the body of the machine inside. It's very important you don't lose that spring. That spring must be in position before you put the machine back to service. If you've lost the spring, go to a hardware store, buy one. It's a really crucial part. It stops your motherboard from being fried from the static electricity that gets created from these two rollers rotating at a high speed. Yep, so putting it back in the machine is just the reversal of the removing, and that'll be it for this machine. We'll just put it back in the machine now and we'll fire it up and see how it works. Alright, so here's our fusee unit. We've just dropped it in. I'll start by putting the screws in. I'll start by putting this one in here on the right. Now as you're tightening it up, put your finger on the gear and just make sure it locks into the gear on the base of the printer. You can actually put it in where the two gears aren't meshed properly. As long as you move it like this and mesh it, you'll be right. And just do the screw all the way up. And then we'll put this gear screw in here. I'll clip the power lead in. And then we will lock these sensor cables in. Just got to make sure they go around the side. Behind the plastic. Oh, look at that, we messed that up, so I'll have to undo that screw and release it just to get those cables behind the plastic guide. Oh, hello. We have a bush turkey come to help us today. You dirty vermin bastard. I'll just pull that out a little bit and get the leads behind. I know, we'll have to pull it out all the way. Lock it in. So now those leads are locked behind the plate. And then we put the sensor leads on. Obviously white to white, red to red. They only go in one way, so we make sure the line is on the line side out. And just carefully just push it down, make sure you don't bend the pins. Same again with the white one. Drop it in and drop it down. Try not to wiggle them too much because the soldering on the underneath of this circuit board is very weak, as in with the other printers that we've shown, and you can quite easily tear the sockets off the circuit board base. Alright, now, so the fuse is in, leads are on, we need to put the two covers on. So the one with this clip goes on the left hand side, and this one just this little overhang here that locks into that position there. Now before we put those on, we have to get the inner paper guide and we need to lock that in. So they go into the hole that's here and the hole that's in here. So simply put it on and slide it in. Just got to be careful that this arm doesn't get hooked on these leads. And this is the tricky bit. You start with the right hand side one first. You've got to get it under. You can push the sensor here down just to raise the arm up. You've got to get this underneath like so, and try not to have it fall down. Come on, sit that there. Of course you'll be doing this two-handed, so it'll be a lot easier for you. I'm the one-handed printer repairer. We like to do things just that little extra bit hard. So we stick it in. So the bottom of the plate goes down first with the top in the out position. It goes down, it locks in the bottom. Then you push it in, raise it up a little bit, and then lock this pin in and lock it down like so, and then it's ready for the screw to go in there. So we'll grab our screw. Now we won't do it up all the way because we want to put the other plate in first. This one's basically the same. The bottom locks in first. Line the clip up and just simply push it in, and that's locked in. Put that screw in. Do up the other screw. And that's it. The job is done. Just shut your door up. Bring your guide up. Lock in this arm down here. Lock in this arm down here, close the lid, and the job is done. We're finished. So if you want to buy this part, you can head over to my website and buy it there, or you can buy it on our eBay store. We use PayPal as our checkout, so you're guaranteed that the product you get is going to work, and that you can follow up with returns and things like that if there's any issues. We also do complete exchange fuser units. The exchange fuser units are only available to Australia. The way we do it is the there's one or two ways. You can either send us your fuser unit and we will rebuild it and then post it back to you, or you can buy what's called an advance exchange, where you buy the fuser unit, we send you the rebuilt fuser unit. You have to send back to us your damaged fuser unit. These fuser units are really hard for us to obtain. You can also buy them from Brother direct at a ridiculously inflated price if you want to. Our rebuilt fuses are fully guaranteed. They come with 12 months warranty as by Australian consumer law. Well, actually, Australian consumer law is really only 30 days, I think. We'll guarantee it for 12 months because I've been doing this job for 25 years and I guarantee all the products that I sell. We can also come out to you and do the repair for you on site as long as you are in the Brisbane, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, Toowoomba areas. If you live outside that, just give us a call because we may be travelling around all over the countryside. We might be able to come to your area. And the way we do it, if you buy the advance exchange fuser, we send the fuser unit to you. Inside the box is a return postage satchel. You just simply put your old fuser in the same packaging that it came to you, put it back in the return post satchel, post it back to us, and when we receive your fuser unit, we will credit back the money that we offer for the core return credit back to your PayPal account. So it makes getting your printer fixed quite cheap. Yeah, I think that's it for today. Let's fire it up and see how the printing looks. So the first time you fire the printer up, you may notice that there's a bit of a smell coming from it. That's just simply because the roller is heating up to 200 degrees Celsius for the first time. Also, if on your screen your machine is saying replace fuser, and usually when these machines say replace fuser, they'll also ask for the laser to be replaced at the same time. You don't have to replace the laser. The laser units, if they're in a clean environment, they'll go for 300, 400, 500,000 pages. There really isn't any need, unless you live in a filthy environment where dirt's getting put inside the laser unit to replace it. So if your machine says replace fuser unit, replace laser unit, just do the fuser. It's a mechanical part that wears. The laser units very rarely fail. I've only ever had to replace one laser unit of my entire client base in one of these machines, and I had to replace it simply because a gecko had gotten in and had shat all over it. They very rarely fail. So if your machine is saying replace laser, replace fuser, after we've replaced the rebuilt fuser, you simply hold down 9 and 3 together at the same time. It comes up with the hidden menu where you can reset all the counters for the parts. So you've got your drum unit, your belt unit, all the feed kits. You simply go down and you've got your fuser unit counter reset. So you click on that. It says reset fuser unit. You say yes. I've already reset the one on this, so I don't want to do it again. And yeah, and that just resets the counter. The reset laser unit, just do that, reset, and we're good to go. Yeah, you really only have to change the fuser. So let's do a printout and we'll see how it looks. Printer, print options, test print. The first print that comes out might look a bit dodgy, but the machine just settles into its routine as you do them one by one. So yeah, you can see this one's a little bit on the dirty, but the dirty marks will go away. You can see it's all fusing nicely now, no bits rubbing off. Now we'll just run off a few pages just to clean the surface of the roller off. And that's it, job done. Happy days, we can print again. I gotta say, these Brother printers, I didn't think much of them when they first came out, but they've just proven to be really reliable. And I think the quality is okay as far as quality of colour printing. If you're doing like business invoices, tax invoices, you know, university assignments, the quality's pretty good for the colour printing. It's nowhere near as good as what other more expensive printers can print in quality, but that's the trade-off. You know, you pay a reasonable amount of money for this machine and it'll give you easily 10 years, possibly even more reliable service. And yeah, I guess that's it for today. If you want to buy the parts, head over to my website or to eBay. And yep, have a nice day.